was looking at him, I was like, I mean, I still love you as a person. Like, it's okay.
Right.
You're just not the person for me anymore.
You're probably like, oh, you thought everything was still pretty good.
They may not catch up.
Uh-oh. She's dropping too much tea. Uh-oh.
Right now, just be
I feel like you throwing shade at me.
Hey, bottles for the bitches over at Winko. I do too much, baby, I can't be no weak hoe. The hoods want us to join, they want some trophies. I ain't finna mingle with Stephanie's and Sophie's. I put that shit on just to hit the studio. Ain't no bitches in the booth, I hit a groupie hoe. Making plays in this bitch like Ricky Rubio.
Thank you for tuning in to an episode of JOCTOBER Podcast. I'm your host, Jock Smith. Thank you for liking, subscribing, hitting the link button below. Very special guest to the right of me, the one and only LisaMarie, therapist, sports medical manual therapist, movement specialist, over the health coach. Over the past 20 years, she's been doing this for quite a while. Thank you for coming to the show.
Thank you.
I really appreciate you.
I appreciate you having me.
Thank you. How's your day going?
Today's good. Yeah, it's Monday. It's a new start, so I'm doing good, and I'm starting here. So
there you go.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you, what's a normal day for you like this in the industry?
Ooh, every day is a little different now that I'm starting to make this transition in my career. I still treat clients, but I'm treating them mostly like 2 or 3 days out of the week.
Okay.
Where I used to do 6 to 7 days a week with clients, 12 hours a day.
Okay.
But I would say most of my days are spent like either mentoring, training people, taking up opportunities like this.
Okay, yeah.
And sometimes we're doing celebrity golf tournaments.
Yeah. I want to ask you about that too. I was kind of being nosy going through Instagram.
Yeah.
And I see you did like the George Lopez golf tournament. How has that been?
Yeah, so this was, I think, my 8th year attending.
Yeah, 7 years I've seen it.
Yeah,
okay.
So every year gets better for me as a vendor, because I start to figure out like how to be more seen, how to be more collaborative with the other vendors,
Gotcha. Okay.
how to, I guess, take advantage of the opportunity of like media and press and writing blogs. So every year has gotten more educational for me.
Gotcha.
But we have a good time there, you know.
It seems like a blast. Too.
It's a blast. I mean, George Lopez, like I grew up watching him,
Yeah, I
right?
did too. Yeah, watching him at a young age, like it's kind of cool seeing him now.
Yeah, and he's surrounded by all the other comedians and people I grew up watching that my dad was watching, and so it feels like you know them without really knowing them.
Know them, yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. So you say you've been doing it for 8 years. I definitely want to dial in talking about your journey. Like, what got you to becoming the woman you are today? Because I know you're doing a lot of things right now.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that, ignorance is bliss a lot of times when you don't really know what you're doing or how you're going to get there. But you show up and you do the work without really having a plan initially. Okay. I think there was a lot of like desperation of just not wanting to feel like you didn't have anything going on.
Gotcha.
So I just showed up to do the work, and a lot of times there wasn't an option but to work and provide for myself. But I didn't have any like resentment or any other thought process behind it. I was just like, oh, this is what I do.
Right.
And why work 4 hours when I can work 8 to 12 hours and be able to have money to provide for myself. I feel like the generation has changed and gotten a little bit smarter. There's a lot of YouTube and all the online platforms that educate you.
It's a lot, and I feel like that's been like the reason why I started my podcast, because I've been learning from other people. Because I think it's kind of challenging being in the industry of like filming, networking and stuff. It's a lot. I can definitely say that.
Yeah, it's a lot. But saturated markets are really great.
You think so?
Yeah, because all you have to do is find the one thing that sets you apart from all the others. And then just capitalize on that. Right. Because I'm a body worker, Initially I was known as a massage therapist, and I was like, this was way before people were calling themselves body workers. It was like, I Googled like oh, body work, and all these like auto mechanic shops pulled up.
Yeah, she's like, okay, body work.
Yeah. So then I was like, okay. And LA was never intentioned for Los Angeles. LA was my initials.
Okay.
And so I was like,
That's
I'm just
creative.
Yes.
Because I want to ask you where the LA bodywork name come from.
Yeah, it's just my initials was LA and then bodywork. And when I started having logos designed, and I'm looking at it, and I was like, oh man, this is so brilliant because it's Los Angeles based, and I'm here and I'm not going anywhere.
So are you born in Los Angeles? For the people that might not know, where are you actually from?
No, so I was born in the city of Orange. Okay. So my family's mostly grew up mainly in Orange County. My mom was born in Mexico, but my dad is from Santa Ana. Okay. And then I grew up junior high and high school. Well, the high school that I did go to for about a year.
You switched around a lot?
Oh, yeah. I dropped out my freshman year, but...
There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, I grew up in Riverside.
But look at you now, the person you became. So it's like a journey, huh?
It's been a great journey. Yeah.
I noticed, I was reading one of your articles you talked about when you first started being a massage, therapist, if I'm not mistaken. And you did it for like about 6 years. And you met this coach who actually like gave you encouragement to get you to where you at right now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
so this was, when people were just starting to become coaches, which is really just a consultant, right? So there were a lot of consultants around before, but the term changed, and I was going to a lot of conferences just to kind of find like, is there a coach that can coach me through my business, and what does that mean? I knew I didn't want a massage place because I didn't want to have to deal with spa treatments. I wanted to do real work, like what we're doing, and so I did hire somebody who owned several massage places, and she just kind of guided me through all the emotional, mental, and business process of like the development on the back end business, and because I had no clue, there's a lot of work involved.
A lot of work,
yeah. And when you don't have guidance, you're lost. And so I've had since then, now I've had 3 coaches, and my most recent coach is Heidi Cortez. But she worked for Howard Stern.
Okay, so she knows some things.
She knows some things, and she was around. I think she's even maybe a year or 2 younger than I am.
Okay, that's cool.
But she was around when MySpace came around. So she's been in the game for a long time, and so I was like, I really need somebody that can help me be seen as an expert in my industry. And she really helped me with that.
That's dope. Do you feel like it's a big difference from back then to now, like with the mobility, like with the technology stuff, like helping clients and things?
Yeah. So back, athletes weren't really training with mobility.
I can agree.
A lot of it was like strength and agility training, and everything was fast and heavy, right? Yeah. And I would say that the industry has changed now to where people really understand that the body mechanics have to start with like smaller muscle groups, so that the smaller muscle groups can really support the larger ones that we've been putting to work. And that's where you're able to activate muscle groups through band work or using stick mobility, which is another great tool.
Things I ran from.
Yeah, all the things, So now athletes are getting smarter about it because they're seeing that there's a trend and a healthier way to prevent yourself from injury. And so a lot of it is like the slow, controlled movements.
Yeah, those type of things.
Yeah, ones that people get really bored of quick.
Because when I was in college playing football, we did so much heavy lifting, and I didn't use the resistance bands how I should. So I want to ask you about, like, do you feel like lifting heavy or mobility workout is more better than lifting heavy?
I think it depends on where you're at in your training, as well as your age.
That plays a big role.
I think people are, if you've adopted a physical activity lifestyle, then you're doing that from childhood, 20s, 30s, and by that time, hopefully, you've done all the really hard work. but you need strength training.
Okay.
Everybody needs strength training, no matter how old you are. Okay. You just have to figure out like how much weight can you load? What's, and not to have injury. Okay. So like for me, I love strength, I want to, but I also want to have mobility. It's really important.
Really important.
Yeah.
One thing I've had to get used to, like once I stopped playing football, was getting up stretching every day. I feel like a lot of humans don't do that. They just get up, go to their phones, or go straight to what they're doing.
Oh yeah.
They don't stretch every day.
Oh yeah.
How important is that to you?
It's so important. Oftentimes people will say, I got up in the morning and I just felt like I couldn't move. I was injured. And I'm like, yeah, because your body wasn't ready to hit the ground. Exactly. You just got to take your time getting up. I feel like people get this confused too, like stretching versus like mobility and self-myofascial release.
I used to be that person.
Yeah. Yeah, so you need all elements in order for stretching to actually feel productive and effective.
Okay.
You can't just stretch without the myofascial release work and without the mobility work. Yeah. You have to have both.
You gotta have both because it's not going to come hand in hand, huh?
No, because then you're just forcing all this like connective tissue in your body. Okay. You're trying to pull it apart and it's like, no, I'm not liquidated enough to work. Yeah.
Do you feel like it's a difference when training? Because I'm assuming you train all levels, like from like children's up to like mid ages.
Yeah, we have a very diverse clientele. I've been in the industry for 20 years this year. Okay. So I have people that were with me before they even got married.
Oh man.
They have kids. Okay. So yeah, I start treating their kids and then
it's like a family thing.
It's almost a family, and that's part of the hardest thing about transitioning this career is the relationships you build over time. Okay. But my oldest client, 93 years old.
93? Oh
yeah.
So he or she?
He.
Shout out to him. Oh my God.
Who's very actually functional and takes walks, still travels.
That's beautiful. I'm kind of jealous. I hope I still be moving that good when I'm 93. Oh man.
Well, you will.
Yeah. Just take care of the body. That's the first thing you have to do.
Your body, your mind. Mm-hmm. You want to make sure you're stimulating your cognitive thinking process so that you feel excited about getting up every day.
Exactly. That is true. I feel like health is wealth now because I see a lot of people are like going to the gym. Mm-hmm. Not just physical, but like mentally wise, clearing your mind. Yeah. It's like you let everything, you like in a place you can just focus. Yeah. I kind of agree with that. Do you or no?
Yeah, no. I train anywhere from 4 to 6 days a week, and I can't say that I was always this consistent. Mm-hmm. When I got to a place in my life where I was like, oh, there's nothing more important for my emotional mental health. Okay. Because I adopted working out, but it wasn't as consistent. Okay. And the love for it wasn't there yet. Okay. Now I'm like, I love working out, and I also just love being around other people who like to work out.
What do you think that changed that mindset for you, that feeling, that passion?
Just having enough energy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like working out in the morning fuels me for the rest of my day. Okay. So, and I'm physically moving with clients, or, I'm mentoring my team. So I'm still physically moving with my work. And in order for me to be as strong as I am, a lot of my clients, it's like my name was like small but mighty. Oh, I like that name. That's a good name. Small but mighty. I feel like I'm 44, and between now and like 55 are going to be the best years of my life. Like I really strongly feel that way, mentally, emotionally, physically. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that I could maintain that without working out and staying on top of the shit.
It's like you have a busy schedule too.
I have a very busy schedule, yeah.
Because I want to ask you, like, is there ever a time when you get yourself a day off to go get like massages? Because using your body a lot, helping people, stretching them out.
Yeah, I do. I used to just desperately go into like a Thai massage place because they're strong. Yeah. Yeah, And then I have a team that I've built.
Okay.
So I prefer to have any of them work on me because they've gotten so detailed with the work that they've learned that, I take the time to take care of myself. I feel like I want to be able to transition that and for people to see that that's what we're doing. You know, like I want to, you gotta fuel your body and your mind with what it needs. Okay. And I know what that is for me. It's like working out, it's traveling. Yeah. It's staying connected with people one-on-one and building like a personable relationship without having a group of people be a part of the experience.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I totally get that. I can agree. I always want to ask you, like, being a woman, how challenging is that, like, in today's world?
Being a woman in today's world.
That's kind of a straightforward question.
It's really straightforward. You know, I don't know that I struggle so much with being a woman in today's world because I'm where I'm at now.
Gotcha.
But I know what it's like to struggle through like teenage 20s and 30s. So I can speak on behalf of that. Okay. It's confusing, but it's not just for women; it's men too. Yeah. I'm an advocate for both male and female health. I don't segregate between the two genders when it comes to like, women are smarter or women are more powerful, or I think we all have our tributes to like what we're good at. Right. And I've grown up with nothing but brothers, so
so that's cool.
Yeah. I will, I support both sides of it, and I think it's challenging for everybody, but I think we all just need the tools. I think women need the tools to sort out how to set boundaries, how to speak up, how to use a tone that delivers a directness, how to make eye contact. Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah. Also just learning to provide a safe space for yourself, so that you can do that with other people. I struggled with that for a long time because I was that woman. I was like, I'm so independent. I'm strong.
Everything I'm on.
I wanted to. I was battling that like ego side of me for a little bit. Yeah.
Because the reason why I asked you that question is like I've been on social media quite a while saying like women like insecure or like I don't like my body or I don't like how the way I look or just that's why I asked you that question because I've been running into a lot of women being insecure. I wonder why are women so insecure nowadays? And I could say men too, but it's just different from a woman perspective,
Yeah, I mean I think it's always been around, right? When I was growing up, beauty was a thing of like magazines and, it was slender. And even I'm so much curvier and muscular now than I ever was. And I used to think I was fat. Like, but it's, I don't put full blame on society and social media. I think it's just recognizing what you need as an individual that makes you feel beautiful and comfortable. I'm open about everything that I've done. I've had a couple of surgeries and, it just, at one point I was just like, I just want to feel more womanly, because I was always looked at as this little girl. And Little Lisa was my nickname growing up. And I'm sure a lot of that had to do with like my brothers calling me Little Lisa and then their friends. And so, I just think that I was a ballroom dancer too. So like beauty was always a thing. Like you did your makeup and you got dressed up and my mother made sure that I left the house, taking care of myself as a little girl.
I think you stole my next question. You was probably looking at my notes because I was going to ask you about that, like being a retired ballroom dancer. So you did that in your early years, I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, I did ballroom dancing actually the first year after I drug overdosed.
Okay.
Yeah, so I had 3 drug overdoses in 1 year when I was 21 years old.
Oh man.
And it took me a year to just sort out like one, sobriety, and two, I just wanted, I'm an addictive personality, and I like to do things. But my first step was going into a ballroom dance studio and being like, hey, can you teach me how to become a ballroom dancer?
Just straightforward like that.
Just straightforward, walked into a dance studio and just asked, and they did. So I just spent most of my 20s structuring, how to become better at that.
Was it challenging, like during the first moments you started it?
I feel like I've always had the natural gift for dancing in general.
Okay, so that's cheating. Okay.
But the challenge was learning something that had structure. And then the next challenge was learning that I was actually a really horrible competitor.
Like, is it a good passion with it, or just...
like, athletes, like when you think of athletes who just have it in them, and I've worked with them, so there's something that doesn't allow them to give up on being the best.
Gotcha, yeah.
So I didn't have that in me, and maybe I would have it today, but back then I didn't have it. I became a better coach, which is what I'm doing today, right? And mentoring and teaching and showcasing, but competing was not my skill set. Never has been.
That's kind of weird to hear, though. It seems like you're a very give off great energy and a competitive person.
Yeah, I mean, but I still can see it when I work with people, with athletes. And I can see what it is. It's just that endless drive of like. I am like, they literally say to themselves they're going to be better than everybody else.
Yeah. Some have egos too.
And some have egos, but sometimes you need that to win.
That is true. I feel like I'm more of a laid back person, so I kind of like go with the flow.
Yeah.
I don't like to be cocky, because if you be cocky, then you have to live up to that.
Yeah.
So it's like I might make a mistake. I'm a human at the end of the day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty laid back. But I like to know that things are going to get done. Yeah,
that too. Well, of course, that part, because like you have to do things, and like with your schedule, like you being a person that people look up to,
Yeah. Well, and like I have a practitioner right now she's been with me almost 2.5 years now.
Okay, that's dope.
And she is my soldier. Like, she is when I look at her, or work with her, or spend time with her. She's got the drive, so she wants to learn and be present and do it. And now I'm like fully comfortable.
Like you just let her do her thing. Huh?
I let her do her thing. And because right now she manages one of my offices.
Oh, shout out to her. What's her name again?
Her name is Hannah.
Hannah, if you're watching, hey Hannah.
Yeah, she's my girl. I'm so proud of her. And I have her shadow me on every aspect of my life.
That's good. Okay.
So first it was like the body work, her coming into the space, working on bodies. Then it was, shadow me on events. Like come with me to the celebrity events, come with me to speaking events.
She's probably getting nervous a little bit.
Yeah, a little nervous. And even when I work with my virtual assistant, I put her and add her to that so that she can see the dialogue.
Gotcha.
So she can learn how to manage and ask people to do things.
The business perspective.
Because if I don't allow her to do that and we just keep her in one space, like that doesn't help me win.
Okay, I see.
So I want her to learn all the other skill sets that I'm learning too.
Yeah.
So she knows that she's being mentored constantly.
Gotcha.
And she's going to get there faster than I did.
You think so? Yeah. Well, she started young. You never know.
Yeah.
Learn from an expert like you, teaching everything. That's true. Because I feel like, I want to ask this too, like being in California, a lot of people don't like what can I say, like be able to share their experience and give the next person like advice and guidance. Do you feel like that's in the time we live in right now?
Yeah. I feel like people want more guidance, but people aren't always willing to put in the work that requires the guidance. I've had most of the people that have come to me have stuck around. I've had to let some people go along the way just because it didn't align, or they weren't committing enough.
Gotcha.
But I still want to be mentored and coached. You know, like I can't do this alone.
Yeah, it's a journey too.
It's a journey. Yeah. Like I would need you for podcasting.
Because I've seen you doing your podcast. I'm like, oh, she's doing everything. Like,
well, to be truthful, I announced it because like I had hired somebody to help me get it going, and then it just came to a stop because they weren't consistent enough.
That's so.
So it bums me out when something like that happens, but I'm not embarrassed by it. Right. You know, it's just like, okay, it wasn't meant to happen at that moment. But it's already like projected into the universe that I'm like, oh, it's gonna happen.
Right. Just be patient.
Just be patient. Yeah. It'll happen.
I feel like I can agree with that because some people like they'll put something out and they're like, oh, it's not going right. You know, just okay, just take a step back and let it go with the flow. You know, everything come to light. So some people just I don't know. I was that same person. I'm kind of talking about myself actually. Okay. Because I started my podcast about a year ago, but I was supposed to start it months before the time I started. Yeah. Like, oh, people is not going to watch my show. I'm nervous, overthinking. I just got to do it. Just hit the button and record.
Yeah, know? Stay consistent.
Yeah. That's stay consistent. I'm trying to do that. That's been a journey actually. I want to go back to the time when you was talking about your like the business, because I know it's like probably everyone go through this like a time when you almost want to like give up. Was there ever a time like one of the most hardest times for you at the time?
Oh man, there's been so many times of wanting to give up. And there also have been moments where I'm like, I give up for a little bit, whatever that means. Like if I just need to take a break from the project or from something, because like right now I just ended the yes time for me, right? Okay. I went through a breakup in January and I was like, yes to a dog, yes to writing a book, yes to speaking, yes to more clients, yes to that. Yeah. And I just, you know, I had all these summer events and I was just like making it work no matter what, and it all worked out.
That's beautiful.
But sometimes you just have to put yourself through that phase to get out on the other end. Yeah. And now I want to find my flow with everything. Gotcha. I want to slow down a little bit.
You think this is the time to find a flow for everything now? Or?
Yeah, I mean, yes and no, but you know, rarely do we have control of everything.
Yes, that is true.
I know that when opportunity comes and God has a plan for you, God is the only person who has control over what's happening next. Mm-hmm. I'm never, you know, going to resist opportunities that could teach me a lesson or earn some growth from it. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I'll take what's coming next.
That's cool. Yeah. I want to ask you, like, what is your biggest motivation? Like, what keeps you going in today's like world?
My biggest motivation right now, I feel, is
don't say your dog.
Oh my! I know Zoe. I gotta take care of Zoe.
Zoe's so cute.
She is cute, man. She like, I mean, you can see it. I'm like, she lights me up. It's like your
best friend too.
She is my best friend. I can't believe I waited so long to get a dog solo. You know, like I've had some dogs in past relationships, but she's my first dog in 15 years.
15 years? Oh, that's a special. Oh, man.
Yeah, I was like, I mean, to be honest, I was like thinking, could I have a baby on my own? Yeah, and so I did the research. Mm-hmm. I'm like 44, and then I was like, no, just get a dog, Lisa.
Yeah, just get a dog because you're going to need someone to help.
Yeah.
But dogs are like, I think dogs are more like, I look at them as like a child also, like when they're so small and get big.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Even now, I've only had her 6 months, and I'm like, she's
6 months and she's that big.
She's big.
How big she's going to get, you know?
Ooh, she weighed in at 45 pounds last week, and I think she's going to be like maybe 55.
Feeding her the protein stuff, the good dog food.
Keeping her fed for sure. My biggest motivation right now, if I could pinpoint one thing, I think it's just to look back when I am 80 years old and feel fulfilled, not like in a selfish way, but that I did as much as I could to be of service and to pass along everything that I've learned along the way to other people. And I just want to make a difference in people's lives, whether it's like vocally, I spoke about my 93-year-old client vaguely, but he was like my first inspiration. He talked about, it's been with me 16 years. So he talked about everything he had done in his life. Man. And this was 16 years ago. And I was like blown away by that. Right. Because you put limits on what you can do. And the way he spoke about everything he had accomplished wasn't like self-serving. I mean, to some degree it is, right? But he did so much for his community, and he wrote books, and he did all these things. And I was like, oh, I can do these things too. Exactly.
That's like a 93. Oh my God. I'm just thinking, like, can I make it that far and be able to do things he did?
Yes.
That's a beauty.
Yeah. You absolutely can.
And is he coming to you a lot, like every day, or like a few days out there?
No, it's just like, it used to be every week, like once a week, and now it's been every few weeks. But mainly that's because I've I've gotten so busy, and I'm pulling away a little bit. I
definitely want to ask you that too. I feel like you reading my questions, but I'm not going to say anything. Like with your scheduling, is there a time you ever like had to sit back and like think about like, okay, I got to do this first, or like reverse the schedule a little bit?
Ooh, scheduling. So I operate on a schedule.
Okay.
I have a calendar with clients and with the other body workers that work for me.
You do your own scheduling?
No, everything is online scheduling when it comes to clients. Okay. So I can see who books on the schedule every day, but I always implement like what I have going on. So like my virtual assistant, if I have something come up, I shoot her a message and say, hey, can you put this in my calendar?
Gotcha.
And everybody sees my schedule, you know, at least everybody that works for me.
Right.
Because I want them to know where I'm at, what I'm doing.
Gotcha.
I don't necessarily share it with my mother, but
She's like, what are you doing?
But no, I just, I have to see a schedule. I think it's important for everybody to see a schedule and really map it out. My virtual assistant works with me Monday through Friday, so I'm in constant contact with her all day long.
Gotcha.
Every day.
It's kind of like your best friend at this point. Yeah.
I mean, she's really become that. Yeah. She's been with me about 3 months now. And she's amazing, and she works in the Philippines.
Okay, so that's cool. We'll travel out that way too. That's cool.
Well, and she works hours that are daytime hours here.
So that's perfect.
And she's a hard worker. Yeah. She's learned my business, both, my LA Bodywork business, my wholesale distribution business, and she's helping me brand and market it.
Okay.
So she's learning everything that I've learned, but she's way more skilled on the online stuff. Okay,
that comes in handy.
Yeah.
So how many businesses are you trying to accomplish before like time runs out?
Oh.
Cause you have 3 so far, I'm assuming, or?
Well, I guess I have LA Bodywork. I have Rolga SoCal, which is foam rolling product.
Yeah. I need to get one of those, by the way.
I should have brought you one.
So, because when in college we had the huge ones.
Yeah.
That was terrible.
Yeah. They're honestly, I don't like to talk bad about other companies, and they're all great companies. Their product just is not as good as
gotta let them know.
I have Rolga SoCal, which is really just a territory wholesale company that I've taken on, and I asked them for it. The company's been in existence on their own, but nobody's built out the wholesale distribution piece of it.
Gotcha.
And I just went to them and said, "Hey, can I build this out? And extend it? Right. I'll do my part. You just let me use your product.
Exactly.
I'll buy it at wholesale cost and everything like that.
And
and then everything else, I guess the third business would just be like, I guess my solo brand. And I don't know.
Are you still doing the books right now, or?
Yeah. So yesterday I had a deadline to complete my chapter with this collaboration of other book authors. And this is a good start for me. I wanted to work with other authors and get the experience of it. But now it's even more motivating and inspiring to do my whole book.
Gotcha.
Ironically, like I'm going to speak at a prison, an all-women's prison in a couple weeks.
Are you nervous, excited, or?
I'm not nervous yet.
Yeah.
I'm intrigued.
Okay. The energy is going to be different.
Yeah.
A lot of women looking up to you, want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah.
That's dope.
So the guy who runs the program, I sat with him for dinner a couple nights ago, and he shared his book with me. Mm-hmm. And I was really struggling with my chapter because when I would read it, it didn't sound like me. It sounded too descriptive with all these like words that I wouldn't normally use.
Okay. I see.
There wasn't enough rawness in what I could hear as far as like how I grew up.
Gotcha.
And so I waited to the last minute, to be honest, to like meet my deadline. Mm-hmm. But I called my brother because we're only 14 months apart. And I said, man, I need you. Like, I need you to read this, and then I need you to talk me through it. Because what I learned about myself through this deadline
the deadline
was I was summarizing the entire chapter, like my stories.
Gotcha.
And I wasn't putting enough like descriptive touch, feel, and sound to what the actual experience was like.
Okay.
And the reason I do that is because as a little girl, I wanted to summarize things so that I could move on. And so I do that a lot in business as well.
Just you do it and move on.
Yeah, I don't like hold on to too much of the detail. Mm-hmm. And even when I talk to my brother, he probably gets so frustrated with me because he's just like, what really happened, Lisa? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, you know.
You're not telling me?
Yeah. So yesterday he was like, tell me how that story was. And so he brought me down through a lot of like childhood memories that I was really able to talk through with description. And yeah, it was great to be able to do that with him. And then I went home and I started writing.
You just got to going.
And yeah.
How many pages are we expecting?
20 pages.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. Not too much right in the middle.
Yeah. We'll save all the rest for the next one. For the big book.
I see you talked about like having 4 brothers, or how many brothers you have?
So I have 3 older brothers. Okay. 2 older half.
Okay.
1 real brother.
Okay.
And then 3, 4, 5 stepbrothers.
Oh man. How was it like growing up? Because I know you talked about your early ages was different. Like, how was it like growing up in your early age?
You know, so I'm from a very like cultured American Mexican suburban family.
Suburban, okay.
You know, we didn't grow up poor, but we didn't grow up rich. We always had a roof over our head, but it was just like most suburban families, or parents divorced. We were all addicts, all drinking and doing drugs by the time we were like 11.
Just living like this was normal to you at that time.
Yeah, and that's all you see and know. So we had a good time. There's no regrets. Like, I think a lot about what we did just running the streets. Like, we were taggers, we were break dancers. We were living our teenage years in the 90s.
Gotcha. Okay.
So everything we were listening to was like anywhere from like Ice Cube, Too Short.
The good music.
The good music. Yeah. And like we roamed the streets and just did our thing and had a really good time. And then there was pieces of it later that you look back on and go, that was not normal.
Yeah, I kind of do the same with my childhood too.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
But we had loving parents,
Yeah. That was always there and stuff.
Yeah, I feel like I said to my mom not too long ago, I said, Mom, we're done punishing you. Like we hold all this resentment towards our parents and judge them for them living their lives the same way we are.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then you finally get to a point in your age where you're just like, they were doing the same thing. They were living their life. They were making mistakes. And they should be allowed to do that, know?
Yeah. My mother's favorite quote is, I've been there before, so I know what you're doing. Like,
and she does.
Yeah. So I'm like, I get that point now. Because I feel like now time is different from like when my mother and them grew up. Because the generation now is just like crazy. The social media and stuff is, oh my God.
Yeah, they're not spending enough time outside.
Yeah, a lot of kids I feel like are not like taking the time to invest in other things or do things like besides be on social media doing the wrong stuff. So,
yeah, I feel like it would be better to even have them make the mistakes we made.
Yeah.
So that they weren't stuck inside and focused on their phones. I mean, they say it's better than getting in trouble, but I'm like, if you get in trouble early on, you learn, and then you hopefully learn from your mistakes, and then you can become so much more self-sufficient as you get older.
That is true. It's like you said, be on the phones, being hunchback over.
Like you can't learn to make money on your phone. I mean, you can, but there's still a lot of back-end business work to do.
It is. Yeah. And I've been learning as I've been going, like, it's so much you need to learn and do. Like, you can't do everything by yourself.
No.
It's challenging.
I try.
Yeah. I want to ask you, what's next, because you got all this stuff going on, I feel like I'm being all in your business right now. Like, so what's next for the people who's watching that know they want to?
Oh, man. I mean, I want to write a full book on my own. Okay. And I don't know when that's coming, but that's one thing I want to do. I want to grow out, build this Roga SoCal wholesale distribution. And I want to do it for SoCal, but then I want to teach other people to take over their territories throughout the U.S.
That's dope.
So that's a pretty big project.
Sounds very powerful.
Yeah.
Sounds very powerful.
Yeah, and I want to do it for Roga. I really admire the owner. He's basically an inventor, and he's a great guy who has other businesses and projects. He just hasn't had the right team join in on his company because like a business owner and other things, he doesn't want to do what I want to do. And I'm like, let me do it for you. And
because you know how to do it too.
Yeah, I know how to do it, and I feel like I have the resources. I'm going to be any type of like celebrity golf tournaments I do. I'm going to be doing the SB Awards. So having a booth set up there is a pretty big deal.
That's pretty big. Yeah.
You don't usually go to the SBs unless you're invited.
Yeah. So going to that's nice.
Yeah. So I'll be there with both businesses.
Okay.
And so now I'm always going to include Roga SoCal with LA Bodywork, so that they go hand in hand.
Hand in hand, yeah. That's smart. That's smart.
And I can sell products. I can introduce it to other athletes and celebrities in the industry, and just see where it goes from there. And
that's so awesome.
Hopefully be able to educate more people on the benefits of self-myofascial release and foam rolling and body work.
Some of the words you said I don't even know.
I know. Well, this is why I need to get it out there.
Yeah. What was it say?
Self-myofascial release.
What is that? Can you elaborate me on that?
So there is myofascial release, which is what body workers do manually, right? Okay. So massage was basically just like massage school. Okay. You learn to have a routine and go through the body, and it's relaxing. We do a lot of trigger point, acupressure, myofascial release. We're really just kind of checking in with how your body stores trauma, stress. And then we create mobility out of like tacking the muscle. So we pin it and then we lengthen it.
See, like, I feel like I didn't have too much of this in college at the time. There was been something I really needed at the time.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah. I mean, it might have gotten you to the next phase of like your just, athleticism.
Being able to, because I'm flexible, I feel like, but not as much as I wanted to be.
Yeah.
So I feel like that.
Yeah.
I just learned so much in 2 minutes.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of people want to learn about it. I mean, these foam rollers are a good tool, just like other tools, right? And I say this in a funny way, but like, when you go to a sex shop and the walls got filled of sex toys, right? And you're like, I know all of these don't work.
Exactly. I only get the one that works.
I want the one that works. Yeah. Well, it's the same thing when it comes to body maintenance tools, right? In the industry is you just have to figure out which ones work. Okay. And I've worked with tons of product companies, and I usually integrate the products within my practice and get feedback from my clients. And I just feel like I've been in this industry long enough to know what works and doesn't work.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Since you said that too, I want to ask you, because I seen a quote where some people say, like the Theragun is like it has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
Do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. So I feel like it operates on a superficial layer of muscle tissue,
Gotcha.
and it gives you like stimulation on a superficial layer, but it doesn't like really get deep.
Okay.
So it just depends on what you feel your body needs. But I support it. I tell people like get one, utilize it so that you're keeping your tissues liquidated.
Yeah, that is true. Because I got one. I'm like, ugh. I be bruised. I'm like,
I
don't think I should be using this.
No, you should use it. I mean, there is such a thing as overusing or overworking.
I think I was the one overworking.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you get into that certain spot, you're like, oh, it feels so good. I was like, I think I overworking myself.
Yeah.
So that's, oh my God, that's, you bring it back so many memories with the Theragun. Because I used to, when we first got it, I think it came out in 2018, if I'm mistaken, right?
Yeah, so Theragun was the first one, right? And then Hypervolt.
Hypervolt.
Yeah, the Hyperice company.
Which one you like better?
Oof, I have personal.
Yeah. I was going through your pal, like she got both kinds. I think.
Yeah, I have all of it, but I'm a big Hyperice company. I just feel like aesthetically, from a marketing standpoint too, they've done a really great job. I feel like they had the financial support to back the science behind it, and they've come up with a lot of products. But there's always going to be one company that does better than the others. Yeah. And then Theragun, Therabody. I think the two are an extension of each other. Okay. They're a great company too. I just feel like sometimes they may not catch up.
Uh-oh. She's dropping too much tea. Uh-oh. Yeah.
Or maybe they will.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Maybe they'll get an investor who drops in like 500 G's.
Because they haven't dropped anything recently, right?
No. No. But I have their products at my office.
You do?
We utilize them too.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this too. I should ask you this earlier. Like manufacturing wise, like who do you go to get your products and stuff? Like everything you get.
Well, now companies will typically send stuff to me.
Yeah, I forgot who I'm talking to. I forgot. So it's like what is it called? I need to send you like what's the word I'm trying to samples and like what's another one too? Well, samples basically, yeah.
Yeah.
They just send it to you all the time.
Yeah, they'll send them to me, or in the beginning I bought a lot.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, because I mean that's one thing is I'm not afraid of financial risk.
Okay.
I used to be, and then you go to all these conferences and they tell you like, don't let money be the one thing that stops you from moving forward.
Oh my God, I need to quote that at the top.
Yeah, don't let money be the one thing that prevents you from moving forward, because you're capable of making money. Mm-hmm. If you decide you're going to invest $20,000 into something, you can make that back. Just create a plan on how to make that back. Is it going to take, 6 clients a day to make that back for X amount of years? Like, you can always make money.
See, I think you need to do a TED talk about this.
Yeah.
Because giving people because I feel like you motivate people to attack it and just go do it.
Just go do it. Yeah.
Because like you say, everything's not gonna happen overnight. No. It's a process, it's a journey. You need a team with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and products are really great too, because for me as a practitioner, it helped me have a side income.
Gotcha.
And so if I felt like there was a tool that would be useful for a client, I would suggest it to them, which I still do. There's a company called Noboso, and this woman is a foot specialist, and she's created all these great products like toe splays, lifters for your shoes, and everything starts with your feet. Not just as an athlete, but just if you're pronated, you just got to be able to see that and fix it. So I feel like products in general have added value. And I teach my practitioners to do the same thing. Gotcha. People automatically like, oh, but I don't want to sell them anything. I'm like, you're not selling them. You're just making a recommendation about what helps them. They can decide whether or not they're going to buy it.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's another question I got for you, and I want your complete honest. Who is more hard working with? Is it football players or basketball players?
Ooh. You mean harder? Like, what do you mean?
Like, far as like getting their body right, you know, because I feel like like the mobility stuff is different from both sports.
Yeah, it's very different. Well, basketball players they're built with long spines. I mean, I wouldn't say all of them, right? Because there's some short guys. Yeah,
football players are compact.
They're sturdier. Yeah. So I feel like the mobility stuff is different for everybody. It's all kind of based on what they put their bodies through.
Gotcha.
Like I assess everybody on their mobility and where their restrictions are. But typically basketball players, because they have long spines, they also have a longer distance between their rib cage and their pelvis.
I didn't think of it like that. Oh, man.
Yeah, so then there's this whole piece, the lengthening piece, that requires more core stability, activation to build that. Because as they get older, without the core stability, everything starts to bend at that lower spine. And so they have all that space. Yeah. And like for me, I'm short, right? We're a little shorter. So like core is my like, I've got Core's good core.
I've been working on my core. I got bad at it for sure. I feel like it's more important to have that core.
Yeah, it is important to have your core. It's what gets you to stand and walk well.
Yeah.
And I would say just like football players, I don't know, their muscles dense.
I can agree.
Yeah. Their
it's
muscles
like you're speaking
dense.
facts up here right now. That is so true.
Yeah, their muscles dense, but you know, I work on guys who are 6'7", 6'8", you know,
so
anywhere.
I was like, you got to get all in there, stretch them out. Oh my god.
Oh yeah, and I use the wall like. I power through it. Like,
it's like a workout. You look like you're working yourself out, huh?
Yeah, I'm working out. I mean, I've made it easier now over time because I use my body mechanics so well.
Gotcha.
Like when I train my practitioners, they look at me and they're like, "You make it look effortless," and I'm like, "It's all on your body mechanics."
Technique is important.
Yeah, if you muscle it, you won't be able to like get deep enough.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What I want to ask you this too. What's your go-to workout?
Ooh, right now I'm working out at a gym called Blueprint.
Blueprint? Sounds like
yeah, it's Blueprint LA.
Okay.
Big shout out to you guys.
Gotta go check them out.
Yeah, they're actually, right now they're in, they're Torrance based.
Okay.
And they're looking to expand because they really are such an incredible gym. I can't even compare it to any other facilities that I've gone to. The community is great. The staff is great. You definitely get like an athletic workout.
Okay.
And it's not a CrossFit gym, but when you walk in, it's like a huge warehouse. But you know, they cover everything: kettlebells, agility, pull-ups, deadlifts, squats. Yeah, and most people are working hard in there. Like that's why I love it so much, because it's like a community of people who want to go there to work.
People should not stand on the phone texting. Oh my god.
No, you never see any of that. Yeah, and they have a strength program there too that you can join, which I loved. So I kind of went back and forth from their regular classes to their strength classes, because it's really good to know what your limits are when you're building strength.
That is true.
Yeah.
What is your go-to meal as far as like supplements and stuff like that?
I'm not a huge supplement person, actually. Not because I don't support it, but I'm all like natural food. I mean, I take my daily I take a daily vitamin and some like vitamin E, like my vitamins that I feel like I need. But I get everything I need from food. I don't even drink protein shakes.
You don't drink?
I know. I used to. It's you know, it's like a trend.
Yeah,
like,
no, I stopped drinking. I thought you drink protein. Okay.
No,
I don't feel so bad then. Okay.
I do eggs in the morning. I still like. I don't deprive myself of any carbs. Okay. But I will say, like, going to this gym I'm there anywhere from 4 to 6 days a week.
So you're just knocking all this stuff. Yeah.
And I can just eat whatever I want, but I keep it clean, unless I'm like at an event, you know, where if they have In-N-Out there, I'll order 2 cheeseburgers.
Too very low. Are you a sweet tooth? Like you like sweets?
Seriously, my guilt right now is like ice cream every other night.
Yeah, you sound like me right now.
It's nothing else though.
Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, I got a sweet tooth, so I can eat ice cream all day.
Is it just ice cream or is it
chocolate,
pastries?
Oh
pastries!
my God, you got something to compliment the pastries.
Yeah. Well, bread turns into sugar.
It does.
And sugar feeds cancer.
Still, hopefully I gotta lay off the sugar a little bit actually.
Yeah, I mean that's what I had to do too, but ice cream is something that I'm like, okay.
That's like the good point, huh?
Yeah.
Up there drinking matcha lemonades and stuff all day.
Yeah.
I'm pronouncing right, matcha or something. Cause I had a habit of going to Starbucks all the time.
Oh,
Just getting the sweet drinks because I like to get energy before I go work out.
Yeah.
Know? I'm like, I need to stop.
And that's expensive.
It is that too.
Starbucks is so expensive.
It's like another tab. Like it's like another bill actually.
Yeah, I like my Keurig. Like I'll make coffee at home. Yeah.
See, I need to get on that. Get a coffee maker at home.
Yeah.
Instead of going to Starbucks, they ripping my money.
Yeah, it's a whole thing too. Like coffee is like I love the experience of making my coffee in the morning, like an old lady. Like.
Do the video, pull the blinds down.
Yeah, I do. All of that.
That's a vibe.
Yeah.
Because I see you into the content area more too with that, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Being able to record yourself, do different things and stuff.
Yeah, right now I'm transitioning into more of an authentic phase of my life, like really sharing valuable content and showing up as who I am.
Yeah.
Because for years, like I did the whole tattooed inked modeling stuff or tattooed magazines but I still had this career.
Gotcha.
And whenever my clients would come across that stuff, they were like,
that's you?
They were like, that is not the Lisa I know. Because they see me face to face and we're talking about tons of different things. And I did what everybody else does. You post a beautiful picture, you go get photographed by a great photographer, it makes you feel good.
You're just being yourself.
You're just being yourself, but it's like without the vocals.
Exactly. People judging you and stuff.
Oh, yeah. And I'm not worried about that anymore. But, I just follow the trend like everybody else does. And now I'm like, I really need to, if I want to impact and make a difference with more people, I have to show up as me.
As you, being like the real you.
The real me in front of everybody.
That's another thing, because I feel like a lot of people are not like being their self on social media. Like they show the goods but not the bad, which I get it, but some people may not realize the intent behind it. That's kind of how I was. I was always like, I've got these cool tattoos and people are drawn to beautiful women with tattoos. Yeah, they are.
And so you don't know. I thought that was like going to make me some money too.
Gotcha.
So, I ventured down that route for a little bit and then realized that it wasn't something I was going to do long term.
Long term?
Yeah.
Did you ever think about like going back to modeling or?
No, I mean, sometimes things like that will come up. And I'll consider it. It just depends on what it is, but I love shooting behind a camera. Yeah. Whenever somebody hires me as their coach to build out their business, it's like you gotta have a photo shoot, to represent your brand, and usually they'll hire me and I coach them through that too. So that's. Yeah, we gotta go through the steps, especially if we're building out a website.
Oh,
so
I need to get on top of that.
Yeah.
See how much I'm learning from her right now? Oh my God.
Yeah, you gotta. Here's what online and social media do.
Okay.
Is they build out credibility. You have to build out your credibility. The only reason people know that I've been in this industry and that I'm seen as an expert is because I started building credibility through my website, through blogs, through Google reviews, through Yelp reviews. So people go down there and they're scrolling and they're like, oh, she's been around since 2009 in this career. Like, well, we want to go to her. So I feel like people, when you're thinking about doing that, and sometimes when I'm coaching people, it's like the resistance behind like putting it out there. And I'm like, listen, you got to do this now. To build the credibility and reputation with people.
They wanted to go quick.
Or they want to avoid putting like information online.
Yeah,
I'm just like, what are you scared of?
Like the bad stuff. I'm like, they go like if someone judges you, it is what it is. Keep going. Do you know?
Yeah.
You're gonna get better over time. You know.
Yeah, like I can say all my bad stuff and not worry about being judged anymore,
right.
because I'm just a different person now, and anything I've done in the past isn't like attached to me.
And you grow as a person too. You feel like
yeah.
That's something I'm afraid of right now, but hopefully everything goes well with that.
No, it will.
Yeah,
it will.
That's good. I'm definitely trying to keep this going because this is something I have passion for too. You know, it's challenging. See it. Being able to talk to people in different perspectives and different genres is kind of something different too.
Yeah, I noticed that with your stuff too. Like you interviewed different people. Different. First, it was like sports related. This
person do real estate, or one of my other personal coaches. I interview him because people always ask me like, "What is your podcast about?"
Yeah.
So it's like I kind of get like, it's like all about everything because I try to go to people who have different things going on.
Yeah.
Get their stuff out there. Talk about their experience because everyone has a story to tell.
Yeah, and right now is like you can consider everything as a test run.
Yeah.
Because you might be drawn to certain genres more than the other, but you don't know what that is until you try it all.
Yeah. I was nervous. I'm like, I don't want to do this. But I gotta do because football. I played college football for all my life. Football all my life, man. After college, I'm like, I got hurt. I'm like, I gotta think of something. What's plan B?
Yeah.
So I'm like, I gotta go with this now, you know.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool too, though.
Yeah, and I feel like educating yourself in different areas, like right now we do these celebrity golf tournaments. And it started off with George's tournament first, and we would just show up, do our booth setup. We know enough about like movement and athleticism and body work that we can conversate with everybody there. But now I'm like 7-8 years in, and we're doing Anthony Anderson's golf tournament, now we have other opportunities to pick up more. And I'm like, I need to learn about golf.
Yeah. At this point, because it's going to keep going.
Yeah. I'm like, Lisa, you got to go learn about golf. I'm like, this morning I looked up, what do I need to know about golf? You know, and I'll probably take some lessons.
Notes,
because I should know more.
Because you're going to be doing this for quite a while too, either.
Yeah, I see it as an opportunity. Yeah.
Something big, because you have to set up the event and everything too, right? Like the tents and stuff.
Yeah. Now we set up the booth and I bring my team. Like now having a team allows me to like network. So when I go, I'm like talking to people.
You can sit them right there, you go walk off and do your
own thing. And when they need a break, I'm like, okay, I fill in, and I get my hands in. I'm not like the person that stands in the back like I'm the boss. I
can tell you get your hands dirty.
No, I do. I want to be involved. I'm not winning unless my team's winning, and that's why I invest a lot of my time without complaining to them, because people can't question when you invest your time in them.
Gotcha.
And once you've done it, like, what are they gonna do? Like, and they will see it as an example for the time that they invest too. So like, if I'm investing in you, I like to see it returned, not like I need to give it back, but that's what tells me whether you're committed to the process or not.
Gotcha. That's man, time consuming, investing, like being able to really focus on things. It's just a lot, you know.
It's a lot, but you get there. Yeah.
So you talked about you having all these events coming up. What's your next event you have coming up?
ESPYs coming up. That's in July. Yeah, so June, I think we're good right now.
Okay.
Whew.
She's free in June. We'll take advantage of her.
I got to June and I was like, wait, do I have anything coming up? But I have a family vacation, which, I'm sure my family is really stoked about.
Where are you guys going?
We're just going to Lake Havasu.
Okay, that's dope.
We're just somewhere local. Because I think after July, all the events will come up for Rolga. I'll be in Chicago and I'll be in New York.
Chicago?
Yeah.
Have you been before? The first time? Or?
Chicago I've been to before. When you travel for work, what's interesting is you always end up in a convention, right? So you get very limited time to like explore the surrounding areas.
Okay.
And right now, you when you're building, you want to be as efficient with your time as possible.
Right.
So I try to at least stay one day. But if I gotta get back, I gotta get back.
Yeah, because your schedule is tough. You got your dog too.
Oh my God, I miss her every time.
She's probably thinking about you right now.
She is. Oh man. I was gonna bring her too, but I was like, oh, she would have been chaos.
She'd have probably had a great time.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. That'd have been cool. I think I'm gonna try to do that one time. Someone bring their dog to the show.
Yeah, just to see the relationship.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll probably tire her out before getting here. But
do you take her like on workouts, like jogs with you and stuff like that?
Oh yeah, so she comes to work with me.
Oh.
Like when I treat clients in my Redondo office, she's in the lobby. You know.
Hyper or she just.
No, she knows her place there.
Okay,
you know, she knows. She likes to say hi to people, but she, for the most part, she doesn't come into the treatment room.
Okay.
She knows that she sits in the lobby.
Okay.
Yeah, I run her. That's probably why she's like not gaining enough muscle right now.
You overworking her? You feel
I'm overworking her. Yeah. Yeah, she's with me a lot. I try to take her everywhere. She's getting too big. I won't be able to travel with her, I don't think, but yeah.
Yes. Look, I had another question I wanted to ask you too. It was one of your quotes I had looked out actually.
Oh.
I think I stole it from your page. What was it? The pains or the patterns of the mind becomes the pains and patterns of the body. What does that mean to you?
The pains of the...
the pains of the patterns of the mind becomes the pains and the patterns of the body.
Yeah. So this has a lot to do with body work is... whatever your body stores, usually it's like lack of mobility and movement because of the stress and the pain your body absorbs. So sometimes like trigger points can mean different things, right? Sometimes I would say like people store in their psoas if they're lacking mobility there. And I feel like cognitively, like you can't, this is probably why I summarize a lot of things, because if you hold on to a lot of things, it's like it prevents you from moving forward. And I've been judged by my family for that, right? Like not just family, but people in general. When you say things about like not holding on to things, it's like, well, how do you not do that?
Exactly. That's true.
And you do. Like I'm not gonna lie. There's been times where it's interesting. I'm going to share this personal story, and I won't mention any names, but I dated somebody who was with somebody during our relationship that I was really hurt by, right? And like I was worked up about this, and all this emotion was existing in my body, and you know, love has a way of like preventing you from doing things. It affects the way you wake up, the way you go about your day, and the way you go to sleep. It really is the one thing that can affect everything that's in your body. And then I realized I was like, that's just too much like power over me. Yeah. And when we finally got to talk about it, and he was honest, I loved him the same way. I was like, and I looked at him and I was like, you know what? You didn't do anything wrong. Because the truth was, he really didn't do anything wrong. He just took action on something that was like something he was feeling drawn to, which is human nature, right? So it takes work to say no, to consider somebody else's feelings. And I understand that. But like, if you don't, then you're just drawn to that. And like, human behavior is human behavior. And you can't like keep punishing people for mistakes and failures. You know, I don't see that being any different, but it took me a while to see that. And when we were talking about it and I was looking at him, I was like, I mean, I still love you as a person. Like, it's okay. You're just not the person for me anymore.
You're probably like, oh, no. He thought everything was still pretty good. Oh my God. That's I mean, like you said, he's not the person for you no more.
Yeah. It just, I mean, it just existed differently, and that's okay.
I appreciate you for sharing that too, though, because I know that can be like something that you don't probably want to talk about either. It can be tough.
Well, the only reason I wouldn't want to talk about it is to expose anybody else.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? So you just don't mention names, and it was very similar to like when I am considering writing a full book. Parents have this like way of making you feel like if you mention something that makes them look like a bad parent. And I had to get past that. I had to like set the boundary and say, hey, I love you, but my story doesn't have anything to do with you being a bad parent. I'm going to share what I'm going to share, whether you agree with it or not.
Yeah.
And you want to be mad, you can be mad, but I still love you.
I still love you. I'm just being honest.
I'm just being honest.
Yeah, I think a lot of people can't take honesty nowadays.
Yeah.
Like everyone, like if you tell them the truth, you in the wrong spot for being blunt with stuff. I don't know, like.
Yeah. Well, it takes a skill set, right? So I love listening to speakers and their deliveries. And one of the things I wanted to learn that I'm still learning is, how do you speak with intent and honesty and still come from a place of love?
That's tough. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I need to work on that, actually.
Yeah. I mean, it's a hard skill. It's something that definitely needs to be learned. There's a couple of I like listening to philosophers, and people, how they speak. And of course, they're big names like Oprah,
Oprah.
Or Jordan Peterson. Do you know who what's Terrence's last name? He was a African-American actor.
I think I heard, not Crawford, no, that's the boxer. Terrence. They gonna cancel me for this. I don't even know the name.
I don't know his last name, but
I know who you're talking about.
Oh, he is like mind blowing about the stuff he speaks about.
Yeah.
But the intention behind how they speak and their delivery is so direct, but also loving.
Loving, yeah.
And I'm like, that's powerful to me.
You need that too.
Yeah.
I think you should be a speaker one day.
That's the goal.
That's the goal.
That's one of the things that I want to be next.
I can see that happening, because like I mentioned earlier, your experience and how you gravitate and attract people and the energy. I feel like people can adapt to that, so that's something that'll be dope for you.
Yeah.
Dope.
I'm hoping.
Yeah.
One of the exercises I like to do mentally with people in general, if I'm coaching them or having these one-on-one conversations, is take inventory of what people say to you.
Gotcha.
Whether it's whether you love hearing it or not hearing it, but you want to take inventory, and when you create the list of the things, whether it's good or bad, see what keeps popping up.
Okay.
Right? So if you took track of 20 people and what they said to you this week, maybe 20 of those people say something very similar, like 10 out of 20. That really is you.
Okay.
And maybe it's something you have to work on, but maybe it's also something that just gives light to people.
Oh, man. Yeah, people should actually have to work on my language, like my body structure. I have to just sit, and I have to work on that. So I feel like you throwing shade. I feel like you throwing shade at me. Oh man, but I definitely need to work on a few things, because as a human, like you say, you growing. You learn different things and people different. Like me meeting you, being able to have this conversations is good too, because we know each other from a can of paint, actually. Yeah. And I was like, I'm a DM, actually. If you want to get on the show, I looked you up. I feel like I was dialogue your whole interview, like what you did in the past and stuff. Yeah. It's like I got to come right with the right information.
I appreciate you doing the research.
I appreciate you too. Yeah. Because I know how important that is. You got to be able to come, at least know something about the person you have on the show.
Yeah, and honestly, I've done this a couple of times too, and you're really prepared. I was like, is there anything you need from me? And you were like, no, which actually just was like, this is great. And you did the research. I think that's really powerful stuff too. And that's kind of what I do when I get involved with people. I do the research on the back end.
Because at first I didn't do that. I'm like, I'm going to just go have a normal conversation. I'm like, you can't do that. You got to be able to,
Yeah, so
you
can't do that.
I had to go do my research. So I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate you coming to the show, too, again. I know it's kind of like we was trying to go back and forth to get everything going, but we got it done, huh?
I appreciate the opportunity. Yeah. This was great.
I do.
Anytime.
Yeah. Probably got to run this back again, huh? Do another episode, maybe.
Yeah. Maybe. Yeah, whatever.
Part two.
Yeah. What are we really going to talk about?
Look, that'll be... Can't let you guys know about that.
Yeah, they want some spicy stuff.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know. I'm like, should I ask for some spicy stuff, or should I just wait?
I mean, I'm open no matter what. I don't even know what I mean when I say spicy.
Yeah, because when you said I'm an open book, I'm like, okay, so I can ask her. I'm like, I'm gonna wait.
No, I am though. Yeah, I am. Cool, we might even wait till after the book because there's some spicy stuff in there.
Okay. See, y'all heard this first. Well, LisaMarie, I appreciate you coming to the show once again too.
Yeah,
looking forward to getting this episode out. And all my follow guests, I really appreciate y'all for tuning in, liking, subscribing. See you guys soon. Have a good one.
Yeah, thanks a lot, you guys.
Want me to get it at Minko. Hey, bottles for the bitches over at Winko. I do too much, baby, I can't be no Winko. The hoods want us to join, they want some trophies. I ain't finna mingle with Stephanie's and Sophie's. I put that shit on just to hit the studio. Ain't no bitches in the booth, I hit a groupie, ho. Making plays in this bitch like Ricky Rubio. I was boxing the garage, just